I am Steve Bosque, the opinion editor of the Sun Sentinel. Thank you both for coming here this afternoon and joining us. With me, my colleagues Dan Sweeney and Randy Schultz. And so we'll. I just wanted to say at the outset, this is not a debate. This is a free exchange of ideas and responses to our questions. We appreciate you filling out the questionnaires. We'll be as even-handed as we can possibly be. It's impossible to have sort of a scientific equal number of seconds for both candidates, but if you feel at any time, if you feel as though, if you want to respond to something your opponent said 6 minutes ago, that's fine with us. Let me begin by asking you, Caryn Siperstein, why do you want to be a judge?
It's a lifelong goal of mine to become a judge. I had clerked for a judge while I was in law school, a New York Supreme Court judge, and he handled civil and criminal cases. And I had an opportunity to see the inner workings of a courthouse and how justice was served. I then, after law school, also clerked for a judge in New Jersey, handling civil matters. And it was really important to see how litigants were treated, how justice was served, and how important it is to be an impartial neutral. Throughout my career, my quest to become a judge has grown. With every career choice, I have tried to make sure that I've gained knowledge in all the areas of law that are required for a circuit judge. So I have a lot of different experiences for the purpose of having diversity and breadth of the law. And I currently am proud to serve our community as a senior assistant attorney general for the state of Florida, handling civil litigation here in Palm Beach County. I handle a wide array of matters, which include personal injury, eminent domain, constitutional challenges, and civil rights. I represent the state, its agencies, and employees when they get sued. And importantly, I represent judges. So I have an opportunity to work with judges, advise them, and also see the court system from the top down.
Tell us briefly, give us an example of what you mean, or an example of you representing judges.
Okay, so in the documents that I provided you, there's one case that I noted that says the 15th Judicial Circuit, which is the circuit that we're seeking to become a judge, as well as the chief judge. I represented both in a case, and typically in the cases in which we represent the circuit and the judge, or just the judge, litigants are unhappy with how they were treated in the underlying case, and then they try to sue the judge or the circuit. Now, the judges have judicial immunity, and you can't use, which seems to be very typical, federal court as a way to appeal the state case. So I have an opportunity to see the underlying cases, have an understanding of all those cases, whether it be family law, criminal law, probate, and then have the opportunity to discuss those cases with the judge, and then move forwards representing them. And in the 5 years that I have worked there, all of the cases were dismissed by motion. So okay. I was glad that was a success.
Thank you very much. Ms. St. Juste, tell us why you want to be a judge.
So this was not a lifelong goal. I wanted to just be an attorney. However, in my more than 18 years of practicing as an attorney here in Palm Beach County, I recognized what it took to be a really good judge, and the impact that it had when you were before a judge that was not so good. I unfortunately experienced some situations with clients and personally where it impacted me in such a way that it inspired me to do my duty to serve as a judge here in Palm Beach County, to ensure that when litigants come before the court and when attorneys come before the court to represent them, that everyone is treated with equally, given a fair opportunity to be heard, and that everyone has a fair and equal opportunity to present their case, that the cases are not determined based upon any racial biases, religious biases, any regard to the socioeconomic status of the litigants, but that the cases are determined based upon the facts, the evidence, and the rule of law that controls, to ensure that here in Palm Beach County, which is my hometown, we continue to have a strong judiciary that makes the decisions accurately, because when they're not done accurately, then you either have to appeal or you're stuck living with the decision that was erroneous. In either case, the citizens of Palm Beach County will suffer. And so my drive to serve is to ensure that that does not happen to future litigants, and to ensure that, like I said, they have that fair and equal opportunity to be heard.
Okay. In your opinion, how extensive is racial bias in the 15th Judicial Circuit?
I don't know how extensive it is. However, it has happened. And I think any occurrence of racial bias is significant enough that it should inspire us to do all that we can to ensure that it isn't occurring.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, you mentioned that you brought up racial bias later, but you started out saying that there were experiences you had, whether as a lawyer yourself or with litigants, that made you want to become a judge, as opposed to Ms. Siperstein, who said, this has been a lifelong dream of hers. Can you be a little more specific, please? And describe to me an instance or two that you said the courtroom is out of control and somebody else needs to be running this.
So I wouldn't say necessarily out of control, but I've had experiences where, so for example, several times I've been in court for, as we were discussing, the 845s, and while trying to get cases heard, I've been overlooked. I've been presumed to be everything except the attorney. I've come up for cases and been presumed to be the court reporter, the actual litigant, the wife in family court cases, or the mother. And unfortunately, I have been in courtrooms where the judge has referred to everyone in the courtroom, which is typically a male attorney, as Mr. Such and Such, and I've been referred to as Alcolya. While it's fine for me, my client is sitting there and takes note of the fact that there's somewhat of a lack of respect. Additionally, I've had instances where I felt that my client's case has been rushed and not given the due time that it deserves, so that we could present our case in response to a case that had been previously presented by the other side. And that should never happen. There should be a fair and equal opportunity for every litigant to be heard and to present their case. And judges should not intervene to rush that process along when someone's life is, virtually being impacted by the decisions that are being made.
Interesting. Okay. Ms. St. Juste, you're a graduate of the Nova Law School.
Yes.
Tell us about the person who had the greatest positive impact on your legal career at Nova.
At Nova? I had an instructor who actually was a family law instructor, Professor Stevens, and she was inspirational. Her class was very inspirational to me. She was a Black woman also in education, but she focused on all of the issues and not just the issue of race. She also gave us a full understanding of the law and the application of the law. A lot of times we say that you go to law school and then you become a lawyer and you learn how to practice. She gave us a true understanding of what it was to not only learn about family law and learn the rules of it, but to also apply it after the fact and use it in our actual practice of the practice of law.
Okay. Ms. Siperstein, in your resume or your questionnaire listing your civic activities, it's a very small thing but it caught my attention and I want to ask you about it. You did or do, I'm not sure whether it's current or past, but you've been active in the League of Women Voters in Palm Beach County, right?
Yes.
Why'd you get involved in the League of Women Voters, and what was your activity with them?
So actually, the last time that I ran, I became very inspired because I noticed that people didn't know to go and vote in August. And it's really important that August 23rd, people know to go vote. And I was inspired by the group because they're about voter education. And that's why I joined.
Did you support the League of Women Voters agenda on issues that involve elections and so forth?
No, I did not get involved in any of their political or legal pursuits, knowing where I ultimately would like to be.
Okay. This is not unusual in the legal profession, but I do want to ask you about it. As a Special Assistant Attorney General, as you indicated, you frequently represent state agencies in litigation. A lot of these cases are still pending in the 15th Judicial Circuit. Are you going to face a recurring situation where you're going to have to recuse yourself from cases where, say, the Department of Children and Families is a defendant and you represented them as a lawyer?
I don't believe I would be required to recuse myself. There are specific cases in which you would be conflicted out and, you know, you had a personal or a monetary gain would be examples of those cases. And so I don't believe that I would be conflicted out, especially since government, there seems to be a change over a lot of personnel. And so people that I may have dealt with on cases may not be there in the future. And a lot of the cases that we deal with are different. And some are personal injury, some are constitutional challenges. So I think it would be on a case-by-case basis. But overall, I don't think I would have a general conflict.
Okay. All right. You've, according to your questionnaire, you've tried 2 cases before a jury and 3 bench trials. And you've practiced law for how long?
Almost 20 years.
Okay. What would explain the fact that I would expect someone with your depth of legal experience to have tried a lot more cases in front of juries? Why not?
So I have to tell you, one of my favorite things about being an attorney is trying cases. However, I can't make my clients go to trial. I have to do what's in their best interest. So there's times where filing a motion for summary judgment or a motion to dismiss gets rid of the case. And that's in my client's best interest, saving them money, especially when suits aren't appropriate. And that's a testament to my legal acumen. Then there are other times when it makes more sense to resolve it, settle the case. And that shows that I'm able to work efficiently with my adversary to resolve those cases. When it's appropriate, I enjoy trying cases. But the other thing that it also shows is the breadth of what I do. I also do many different areas of law. So I've had hearings in front, like an administrative hearing in front of Department of Children and Family Services. I have also dealt with constitutional challenges in which I've represented the state. I've also mediated over 500 cases throughout the course of my career. I've served as conflict counsel for the Public Defender's Office when I lived in New Jersey. So I've had a breadth of experience, and I enjoy any opportunity to try cases, but I have to act in the best interest of my client.
Ms. St. Juste, if you're successful and you win this election, would you rather serve on the civil bench, the criminal bench, family law? Do you have any preference as to what kind of cases you want to hear?
I do have a preference. However, I'm obviously happy to serve wherever the chief judge would assign me. However, I would eventually love to serve on the juvenile bench simply because of the importance and the impact that juvenile judges have on the lives of some of our most vulnerable members of the community, which is our children. Being able to help steer a child in the right direction who may not have otherwise had that opportunity is important to me. However, I am prepared to serve day one in either of the divisions of the circuit court. I have practiced in almost every division of the circuit court, and I am prepared, as I stated, to use my 18 plus years of experience to serve wherever the chief judge may assign me to serve.
Okay, and a similar question that I asked Ms. Siperstein is, and if I'm reading your questionnaire correctly, you've never tried a case before a jury, am I correct?
That is correct.
So you're sitting in a courtroom in West Palm Beach, and it's a jury trial, and it is clear that the defense lawyer in the case is trying to impanel an all-white jury when there is a very healthy cross-section of people of all races and ethnicities in the jury pool. What do you do about that?
So, you know, there are jury instructions and there's information to direct the way to handle that. And obviously the requirements are that a jury be of a cross-section of the community. And so I believe the first step is to speak with the attorneys to ensure that they understand their obligations. And then speaking with the attorney, who I believe you said was the defense attorney, to understand or get the reasoning. So for challenge causes, why those are, and then for the challenges that are at his discretion, to get a better understanding of why, to ensure that this is not an intentional act.
I see. Okay. Am I right that is jury selection in trials in Palm Beach County and still being done virtually, or is it all being done in person now?
I believe they are currently being held in person in
Okay.
Palm Beach County.
You've been a senior attorney for the Department of Children and Families, correct?
Yes, I have.
For how long?
I served as a senior attorney, I believe, for 4 years. And that was a while ago. So if memory serves me, it was for 4 years.
Okay. I'm going to turn the gavel over to you, Randy Schultz, if I can. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
And what about Caryn? Is she muted too?
She might be, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So we were discussing 845s, and I have one for you. Yes, she is muted. If you can hear us, Caryn, unmute yourself.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm sorry, I got froze out.
Yeah,
so
that's
I've had to do that too.
happens all the time. Yep.
No worries. The dreaded lag. So we're discussing 845. So we are here. It is an 845 hearing, and the motion before the court is Caryn Siperstein is the better candidate in this race. Please argue that, Ms. Siperstein.
So I believe the question is, why am I the better candidate in this race?
Well, if you want to do it in that boring way, sure. I like mine better, but why not?
I just want to make sure I'm answering the question correctly.
Yes, yeah, that is, yes.
So I've spoken a lot about my breadth of experience. I have experience in every single area of circuit court. Probate, I've done trusts, I've done wills, I've even appeared on behalf of the Attorney General's office for the state in probate court with matters that, specifically one matter that they were concerned money would escheat to the state. Essentially, someone passed away with no heirs. I've also handled criminal matters, as I said, at the Public Defender's Office in New Jersey as conflict counsel. I've also handled family law matters as an attorney, as well.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
We got lag again, I think.
Yeah.
Not at a good point that time.
Okay. Should we just move on and hope she'll dial back in? I think. Yeah, she's left the meeting. Okay. Well, let's just give it 30 seconds or so and see if she comes right back.
We might want to There we go.
Okay. Unmute yourself.
There we
Did
go.
I got frozen on criminal, perhaps?
Yes,
Right around there.
right about there.
Okay, so I have criminal experience and I have extensive civil experience in civil circuit, which is the majority of what I've practiced throughout my career for 20 years. But what really sets me apart and allows me to hit the ground running as a judge is my service as an arbitrator. In New Jersey, I was a court-appointed arbitrator in civil court. And in New Jersey, it's considered you are a quasi-judicial officer for the purposes.
Oh dear.
Okay, well, it's one of those things.
She got back in pretty quickly the last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember where she was. And she's muted. Caryn, unmute. There we
Okay,
go.
so this is a test of my endurance.
Yes, right. Or either that or it's a conspiracy, one way or the other. Who can tell? But you left off at quasi-judicial officer in New Jersey.
Yes, and I handled a wide range of cases, which are the exact same cases that I would handle if I were elected as judge, which included employment, contracts, personal injury, business, lemon law, and consumer fraud cases. And in those cases, I would conduct the hearing. I'd have an opportunity to review the pleadings, parties would present evidence, documentary evidence, as well as oral testimony. I would determine its admissibility, and I would apply the correct law and make a determination of fact and first make determination of fact and apply the law, and then provide a written award. And the parties could either accept it or file a trial de novo. To the best of my knowledge, no trial de novos were ever filed. And this experience prepares me to serve as the next judge.
How many of those do you think you handled?
Less than 50.
Okay. All right. Counselor, the 845 motion is now that Ms. Juste is the better candidate in the race. Please argue.
So my more than 18 years of experience here in Palm Beach County, where I am asking to serve as the next circuit court judge, prepares me. I have been a litigator for that entire time, arguing more than 200 matters to conclusion, to ruling by a judge in each of those instances. I have also served here in Palm Beach County in a quasi-judicial role as a special magistrate for both Palm Beach County
Froze that again.
for the city of Riviera Beach. Do I need to pause until she comes back, or do I keep going?
No, you should keep going.
Yes.
Okay. So I've served as a special magistrate for Palm Beach County as well as for the city of Riviera Beach, where I listen to testimony, rule on evidence, weigh both the testimony and evidence presented by both sides, and make a ruling based upon the rule of law. I've done that while ensuring that all litigants that have come before me have had a fair and equal opportunity to be heard, and to make sure that my rulings are based upon simply the evidence, the facts, and the rule of law that applies. I have also been vetted by the JNC, the Judicial Nominating Commission, and I am the only candidate to have been presented to the office of the governor for consideration for appointment for a circuit court position. They've spoken to the attorneys that I practice both with and against, as well as the judges that I appear before, and looked at my experience and deemed me qualified for appointment to a circuit court bench on, I believe, 3 occasions. Additionally, I have the endorsement of more than 35 local and state electeds, more than 80 attorneys, including 5 past presidents of the Palm Beach County Bar who have submitted their endorsement for me for circuit court judge. My experience and my qualifications, as I've stated, I believe deem me the best candidate for the position, and it is why I'm asking the voters to elect me on August 23rd to serve as the next circuit court judge here in Palm Beach County.
And how many cases have you handled as a magistrate?
More than, I believe, 250, maybe closer to 300. I've done that for about 10 years now. And it's
For the uninitiated, tell us what a typical special magistrate case, what's it about? What's in dispute?
So typically the disputes are code enforcement matters, where a property owner has been cited as violating some form of the code, and the city or the county brings their evidence to prove that there is a violation, that it wasn't corrected in the time provided. And then the homeowners or property owners can come and say why there wasn't a violation, or to demonstrate that it's been corrected. In addition, for the city of Riviera Beach, I also hear variance requests, and that is where builders or property owners are looking to ask for special permission to do something on a property that is not permitted, or to change the zoning for a certain property for a certain purpose.
Understood. Did I hear you correctly that the past 5 presidents of the Florida Bar have endorsed you, or is this the Palm Beach County Bar Association?
5 past presidents of the Palm Beach County Bar have endorsed.
The Palm Beach County Bar.
Yes.
It's a matter of public record, but we don't have it handy. As your questionnaire indicated, your name went up to the governor 2 times. Correct?
To the governor, yes.
Yeah, I don't recall your questionnaire. We didn't ask the question what years that was, but I'm asking you to recall, if you can, even if not the year, who was the governor at the time would help.
So yes, once I went up once, I believe it was 2016 or 2017, to Governor Rick Scott. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I went up in 2018.
That would have also been Rick Scott.
Okay, 2019.
Yep, that would have been Ron DeSantis.
On 2 occasions to Ron DeSantis.
Oh, okay, so your recollection is your name is going to the governor 3 times.
I do believe so, yes.
Okay.
I know that I went up once to Governor Scott. Yes, I'm sure. Once to Governor Scott, and then twice to Governor DeSantis, within close range, because once I traveled to Tallahassee for the interview, the second interview with Governor DeSantis's people was via telephone.
Do you remember, again, this is a matter of public record, but I'm just asking, do you remember in any of those 3 cases the name of the person who was chosen? If not, we can find out.
I don't recall, and I don't want to take a guess. I'm not sure.
All right.
Are you a member of the Federalist Society?
I was.
You were.
Yes, I am not currently.
Okay. Why did you leave?
I just didn't renew the membership.
When did you join?
I believe 2019.
So did you join because you thought that was becoming a requirement, if you will, under Governor DeSantis?
I felt it would be beneficial. However, I will say I did participate in some of the events, including Constitutional Day, and I did find it to be very rewarding.
And then did you quit because if you went 0 for 2, it wasn't working?
No, I actually renewed the next year, and then I think just recently just hadn't submitted the renewal part of it.
Okay.
I'm wondering, and as I think others might, even though you're no longer a member of the Federalist Society, do you still support their philosophy about the law and about jurisprudence?
So I believe that it's important for cases to be determined based upon the rule of law and not based upon our opinions or what we may or may not believe. Judges are charged with ensuring that whatever the law is at the time, that it is followed, and that there's consistency with regards to that.
Okay. I've had a question from Ms. Siperstein, but we'll wait for her to rejoin. We lost her
I think
signal.
Dan had one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was also for Siperstein. Just to clarify about the JNC, Ms. St. Juste said that she was the only one that had been nominated as a finalist, but I was curious whether Ms. Siperstein had ever applied to the JNC.
Yeah. I think she told us she.
Get that
And there she is.
I have one
And
more.
muted.
Yeah, I have one more brief question for Ms. St. Juste on the same topic, and then we'll get to Ms. Siperstein for sure. Ms. St. Juste, you've gone through the appointment process a total of 8 times through JNCs. Do you feel the Judicial Nominating Commission process is fair? Is it equitable? Did you feel you had a full opportunity to present your qualifications and were treated equally with the other candidates?
So at times, yes, there were times when I interviewed and it seemed as if it was a foregone conclusion as to what selections were going to be made. So I have had opportunities where I have interviewed and it didn't seem like a genuine interview, in my opinion. It just seemed as if
I
they
can't
were
even.
sending the interview to everyone simply for the sake of extending it.
Okay. Let's give Ms. Siperstein one more opportunity here to.
Okay, I'm sorry if I missed something. I don't know why I keep getting dropped.
Okay. Well, you're back. So Dan or Randy had a question for Ms. Siperstein. Go ahead.
Dan did, I think.
Yeah, we were just talking to Ms. St. Juste about her being nominated by the JNC for positions. Wanted to ask you if you had ever applied to the JNC for a position to be nominated by the governor.
I did February 2022. It was very recent.
Oh, okay. What was the result of that?
I'm running for judge.
Fair enough.
Ms. Siperstein, have you ever belonged to the Federalist Society?
No, but I was invited to go to the event because about, I would say 4 or 5 of the JNC members are Federalist Society members. And it was an opportunity to meet a lot of the judges and the members. And it was very enlightening.
Only 4 or 5?
That I saw.
Are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Federalist Society?
No.
Does either of you have a current or former circuit judge in the county who you believe is worth emulating for whatever reason?
I do. Would
Go ahead.
you like to go
Yes.
first?
Why don't you start? Because
Because I'm going to get cut off.
We never know when we're going to lose you.
So there is former Judge Tickton. She actually is my campaign committee chair, and I admire her greatly. When I was working in the courthouse as a state mediator doing family independency, we would frequently go behind what the public could see.
Brother.
And that's the limits of what we can see, at least for the moment. Sorry this is happening, but it's circumstances beyond her control for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why don't you actually answer the question since you're on, and then we'll get her to finish when she comes back.
That's a great idea. Okay.
Okay. So actually, there are 2 judges that sort of inspired me, that I believe had really good courtroom control and really ensured that litigants had a fair and equal opportunity to be heard. That would be Judge Moses Baker, who is now retired. He served on the juvenile bench for the entire time that I've been practicing. And I don't know if you know Judge Baker, but Judge Baker sits like this on the bench. And, you know, people can get out of control. I don't know if you've ever seen the dependency docket, but sometimes clients will yell at the judge. Clients will curse out the judge. Clients can be very unruly, the parents in the cases. And Judge Baker maintained his demeanor throughout, while also being able to control the courtroom, which obviously is an important aspect of it as well. And then
Judge Baker was a legend in juvenile court.
Yes, yes. And then Judge Minu Sasser. Judge Sasser was a mentor to a lot of attorneys as well as judges. She served the community well, and she was both of them, very knowledgeable. It's very important to have judges that don't just sort of guess about the law, but who actually know the law, who understand the law, and know how to apply the law. Those things are very important. And so both of them, I believe, demonstrate those things and an ability to ensure that litigants are given that fair and equal opportunity to be heard, and that they're able to have that courtroom control despite difficult situations. And so those would be the two judges that have inspired me the most, that I would say would be the best to emulate a career after, and who have led Palm Beach County well.
Yeah, very sad in the case of the latter.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what were her responses?
No, her choices were the former Judge Moses Baker and the late Judge Minu Sasser. When we lost you, you were explaining that former Judge Tickton is your campaign chair. You respect her, and take it away.
Okay, so I had an opportunity to see her on the bench in a stalking case, and her demeanor was exemplary. She was able to tell a gentleman that his behavior was unacceptable in the most respectful way. And that is something that I hope to emulate, is to provide a place where everyone is treated equally, fairly. I will serve with integrity and a commitment to fairness, and always have the right temperament and demeanor that is appropriate and becoming of a judge.
As I recall, when she went on the bench, there was a lot of speculation about her background, that she would be a bit of a lightweight, as I recall, right? Because of the kind of cases it was her dad's firm, right? Yeah. But she seemed, by the bar score, she seemed to have proved everybody wrong.
I think she was very underestimated, very intelligent, smart, calm, thoughtful woman, and loved by many.
Okay.
Ms. St. Juste, this question calls for a very specific answer, maybe more specific than you'd like to give. But of all the people, can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh, we're losing.
We can hear you. No.
Okay, we just lost Ms. St. Juste then. Okay.
Well, at least now it's equitable, close to it, right? Nobody,
Yeah.
No accusations of,
I'm going to ask Caryn Siperstein the same question, which is it's a broad question that requires a specific answer. But can you hear us, Ms. St. Juste? Don't forget to unmute your microphone each time you come back on.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
there she is.
Very good. The question is,
You guys, are you able to see me?
yes,
Yeah, we can see you.
Fine. Yep, you're back. Of any organization or individual who has endorsed your candidacy for judge, which is the one you'd most want voters in Palm Beach County to be aware of?
That is so difficult.
It's sort of like this, and
So-
I understand the difficulty, but it's sort of like this. Each of you is going to list one first on your campaign literature. Why is that one listed first? That's another way to approach it.
There you go.
Probably Commissioner Mac Bernard. He was one of the first to endorse me, and
Oh,
his,
I lost
his
again.
experience- I'm sorry.
Miss Siperstein was saying she lost her signal went out again, but you please continue.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
His experience and leadership speaks volumes for what he's done here in Palm Beach County and been able to accomplish. And I am honored to have his endorsement.
Okay. And Ms. Siperstein, I don't know if you heard the question, but if you did,
I did.
go ahead.
All right.
You can only pick one individual or organization.
Well, since I know I have 5 seconds before I'm off again, I better get it out quickly. I would definitely say Ann Gannon, the constitutional tax collector, because she has served our community in that role for about 16 years. And before that, she served as a state representative. And I am honored that she has chosen to endorse me.
Ms. Siperstein, you're a full-time state employee as an senior assistant attorney general, and you're running a very important campaign in a very big county, one of the biggest counties in the United States. So tell us and tell the voters and taxpayers of Palm Beach, how do you balance those? Are you taking leave from your state employment? Are you working and campaigning at night? How does this work?
So I do have a very important job, and I handle a lot of significant cases, which I'm proud to do. Running a campaign is a lot of work, and I give anybody who runs a lot of credit. In order for me to run, I'm using my vacation time, and I saved a lot in order to do this. And my boss was surprised I had so much. But I am still working. I am using my vacation time to run, and I'm very proud to be able to continue to work as I did last time.
And did that start as soon as you qualified?
Taking vacation time, yes.
Okay.
We will endeavor to pull your application, but as long as you're here, and it was not that long ago, it was February of this year. If you remember, I think on your application for a judgeship to the JNC, they asked you to list 3 personal references, character references. Do you remember any or all of who they were?
I remember a lot of them.
Okay.
Because I called them all to tell them I was running. And part of my job as a senior assistant attorney general is representing state agencies. So in order for me to even list the cases that I provided to you, I had to get approval of my clients. So I had to make sure that that was done. So one is my boss, John Badger. He's the chief, and he actually has been promoted to what I call the chief. He's being moved to Tallahassee, and I was honored that he spoke on my behalf, and he said to me that I would be great service to Palm Beach County if I were able to serve as judge. Another person who has also endorsed me is Noel Pfeffer. He is in-house counsel at South Florida Regional
Tri-Rail.
And he also used to be the city attorney for Delray Beach. And he has also supported my candidacy.
Deputy county attorney in Broward before that.
He sure was a long time ago. Yep.
And also Ted Avalon, he works for the Florida Department of Transportation. And he also expressed happiness of my run. And one of the very nice things about him was he always will call me and want to send me cases kind of out of turn. Cases come through the chief, and then they get assigned. And it was a big compliment to me that he wants me to work on his cases. And of course, I have to go to my boss and say, is it okay that I take this case out of turn? And, my boss said, you know, as soon as you started working here, clients have asked for you by name. They trust you. They know you do good work. They know that you will fight for them. And he said it's not typical that clients will ask for a specific attorney. So those are three that have I put as my references and who also support my candidacy.
Okay, thank you for that answer. I'm just keeping an eye on the clock. I know we've been interrupted a few times, but we've covered a lot of ground here, and we're reaching close to the end of our allotted time. I'd like to give both of you a brief summation, a closing argument, as it were, but not as long as a closing argument in court. A minute to a minute and a half or so. And just to be ecumenical, we'll go alphabetically. So I think in going alphabetically, Ms. Siperstein, you go first? Yes.
Yeah. And I'm also concerned I'm going to get cut off.
All right, go ahead. Yes.
I want to go first.
Go ahead.
So in closing, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today, to earn the endorsement. And I want to say that I believe I will best serve our community because I have long experience as a civil litigator, as a mediator, mediating over 500 cases, as an arbitrator, handling the same types of cases I would as if I were going to be elected as judge. And I believe that all of that experience sets me apart. And the breadth of that experience is so important because when you serve our community and you make a decision, it has resonating effects into other areas of law and on people's lives. And I want to have the opportunity to serve our community and be the judge that our community deserves. And I'm proud to have been endorsed by the Palm Beach County Human Rights Coalition, as well as Win Now, the National Association of Women. And I believe that I can be a judge that would best serve our community and that everyone could be proud of. Thank you. Thank
you very much. Ms. St. Juste, you have the floor.
So now I'm hoping I don't get cut off because I did once, so I understand on the So my experience speaks to my ability to serve as circuit court judge, but I've also served in leadership roles for diverse community organizations. Community service is important to me. I am a current board member for Inner City Innovators, which is an organization that provides assistance and alternatives to at-risk youths in the community. Additionally, I have been litigating for more than 18 years. All of my experience has been here in South Florida, primarily in Palm Beach County. I started my career with the state of Florida Department of Children and Families, where I worked my way up to become a senior attorney. I litigated cases there to ensure or to represent the state of Florida in protecting the best interests of children in our county. From there, I left and I started in private civil practice, where I've been a civil litigator, serving the constituents of Palm Beach County in a variety of areas, but mostly in the areas of juvenile dependency and family law. I have worked with individuals from all types of backgrounds, all different walks of life, and different socioeconomic statuses. And I fought to ensure that their voice was heard, that they had that fair and equal opportunity to be heard, and that their cases were presented in the best way possible. I have also served in the quasi-judicial role as a special magistrate for both Palm Beach County and for the city of Riviera Beach, where I have ensured that litigants who come before me have had a fair and equal opportunity to be heard, ruling on cases based upon the testimony provided, weighing and admitting the appropriate evidence, and then making a determination as to the rule of law that applies in the particular case. I have garnered the endorsement, as I said, of more than 35 state and local elected officials, more than 80 distinguished attorneys, including 5 past presidents of the Palm Beach County Bar, and 1 past president of the Florida Bar. My experience has prepared me to serve Palm Beach County day one as circuit court judge. Additionally, I have gone through the process of not only being vetted by the Judicial Nominating Commission, but being chosen to submit to the office of the governor for consideration for appointment to a circuit court judge position. And that speaks again to my skills and experience as a litigator here in Palm Beach County. I am prepared to serve day one the litigants of Palm Beach County and the county as a whole. My motto is that I want to ensure that everyone that comes before the court, that I treat them the way that I would want to be treated, and not necessarily based upon how they may treat me or what their attitude may be as they come in, to ensure that my courtroom is calm, consistent, and that it is run in a fair and equal manner. And so I'm asking for your endorsement for Circuit Court Judge Group 23. I thank you for the opportunity, for the consideration for the endorsement, and for your time to meet with us today.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you,
joining us.
folks.
Thanks for the
you for your
questionnaires.
patience.
Best of luck to both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank
So
you.
long.
Have a good evening.
You too.